Okay. So the idea today is to finish up the class on the weapons of war based on the maamar from the Rebbe Maharash. But because we didn't have enough material for a full class, I found a good story, which is always a good way to start the class. No? Good story that has to do with weapons. So it's a story told by someone who had been an army captain in the 90s when the things between Kuwait and Saudi Arabia were becoming a bit heated up, which ended up in the United States getting involved in all of that. And he was a captain, and he was in the 1st Cavalry Division, and he was ready to be deployed for what became the Persian Gulf War. And the Department of Defense had this dilemma because Jews were forbidden by Saudi law from entering the country. And here we have Jewish army men who are Jewish. And they had a dilemma with the dog tags, right? The dog tags that you wear with your name to figure out who you are also say if you have a religion so that they can respect the way they're going to bury you.
This is an American soldier?
Yes, an American soldier. Yeah. And so they had the dilemma. What if some soldiers are killed in action in Saudi Arabia and they say Jews, and we're going to get in trouble, or they're going to be not treated well? And they weren't sure what to do with the classification. And so also with the fact that Iraq was involved, and if they would be captured, it would be worse knowing that they're Jewish. So they decided, they created a new classification called Protestant B. And so they all gave them new dog tags that said Protestant B instead of Jewish. And they knew Protestant B is Jewish, but enemy wouldn't know. Now this guy says, I didn't like the whole idea of wearing something that said, I'm Protestant B. Well, what is that? I'm Jewish. So he decided, even though they gave him dog tags that said that, I'm going to wear my regular dog tags that say Jewish, and I'm in Hashem's hands, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I mean, I just can't change the dog tags. I can't do that. And so September 1990, he went off with his Jewish dog tag. And a few days after his arrival, the Baptist chaplain came in and told him, I just got a secret message through channels that there's going to be a Jewish gathering. So I'm letting the Protestant B guys know. It says a holiday called Simchat Torah. That's what he said. I'm not Simchat Torah. The Jewish guy, he didn't even know what he was talking about, because it happens to be that he never celebrated Simchat Torah either. So he wasn't Simchat Torah, I don't know, but he said, there's going to be a Jewish thing, I'm going to go. And so he went, and there was a windowless room, and the Jewish army chaplain had a service there, and they managed to get some Manischewitz wine, which he always thought was disgusting. But for this particular celebration, it was like a taste from home. It just felt good to drink this Manischewitz wine. There wasn't singing and dancing because they couldn't make the noise, but they had some sort of quiet and hidden celebration for Simchas Torah. And they all were reminded, I guess, of the few Shabbos they celebrated, or the Pesach Seder with this amazing wine, Manischewitz. I wouldn't recommend it, but it just happened to be that this last Pesach, a family member came and they brought me a bottle of Manischewitz. I said, really? Yes, we want to drink that. Okay, Gesundheit. Whatever they drank, the rest was not, ended up being thrown out. But it does have this taste of what they would bring out when they were kids in school and different. This was the wine, Manischewitz. No. Anyways, so they did that. It says, I don't know, I've never celebrated my Judaism, but that night it was special. I was prouder to being Jewish than to being an American for that particular night, which I never planned, but it just happened to be. And soon after things started becoming worse and more tense, but there was another Jewish gathering for Hanukkah. And it says that he had a Jewish colonel in charge of his unit, Colonel Lawrence Schneider. And he let us know there was going to be a Jewish gathering for Hanukkah. Probably because they were so close to war, if they would have had a non-Jewish colonel, maybe he wouldn't have found out that time. But they went, and there was tons of food, cookies and latkes and sour cream and applesauce and even canned gefilte fish. Even though there was a dry wind outside, there was a certain warmth and good feeling inside as they lit the candles. And they remembered the Maccabees, the soldiers, just like they were soldiers. And it wasn't hard to feel the connection between that and the fight that was coming very soon. Anyways, again, the feeling was much better than he had ever expected or experienced as a Jew. Intelligence estimated that there will be 12,500 casualties on the American side. And he said, that is more than my whole division. And that's where we're going to. So the Hanukkah celebration helped as he was figuring out whether he was going to be able to survive this war or not. But there was a feeling of unity there. He felt more Jewish there than ever before in shul or at home, sitting in a Saudi desert in a little tent with his fellow Jewish soldiers. And he ended up talking to another guy, and somehow the dog tags came up again. And he told him, I just couldn't do it. So it's just, I'm wearing my Jewish dog tags. And the other guy, who's also not frum or anything, says, I also couldn't do it. I also have my Jewish dog tags. So he imagines there is somewhere, probably till today, a nice box of unused Protestant B dog tags somewhere in the Pentagon or in the Department of Defense. Because all these Jews who were preparing for war knew, I'm not even gonna put, so it doesn't mean, what does Protestant B mean? Nothing. But even the slight chance you're gonna be disassociating me from Yiddishkeit says, I'm not going for that. I'm going for war if I was going for war as a proud American, I'm gonna go for war as a proud Jew as well. So anyways, that's a good story about dog tags. Yeah? Here you go. You can share it with your friends.
I will.
Okay, we'll come back to this. We're good on time. We have more than 10 minutes. Should have expanded more the story.
14 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think I have material for 14 minutes unless you guys really fight me and discuss things.
I wonder what they do with Kushner and Witkoff and back in the old days, Kissinger. I guess they weren't allowed in Saudi Arabia.
I have no idea. I mean, Kushner wasn't around back then.
No, I know, but now, they kind of chummy with them.
No, there's Jews go to Saudi Arabia now.
They changed it?
I don't know if they changed it, but I know for a fact that there are Jews that have been to Saudi Arabia.
Maybe they relaxed.
I would assume it was very relaxed, and back then, I don't know, maybe if you were part of the government, they would let you in.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, doesn't really matter. Don't get sidetracked by the...
No, that's a good story.
Okay, so we've discussed the weapons. We discussed the idea that the Jews left Mitzrayim armed for war, armed to fight the Yetzer Hara who wanted them to stay, because either 4 out of 5 Jews, or 49 out of 50 Jews, or 499 out of 500 Jews decided to stay, and the only people who left were the ones who fought the Yetzer Hara and were able to come out. And now we're going to come back. We are going to come back to a Mishnah that we read. Remember the Mishnah? It went under the table. We read a Mishnah at the beginning of the class, right? The Mishnah said that a man may not go out in the public domain with a sword, nor with a bow, nor with a shield, nor with an alah, the mace, nor with a spear. And if he did go out with one of these implements of war, he's liable for a chatas offering. Yeah, for carrying outside. Rabbi Eliezer said they are ornaments for him since they enhance his appearance. So the Rebbe Eliezer said it's okay. They're like decorations. But the sages say they are nothing but a disgrace, as it is stated, they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning shears. Nation shall not lift a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Meaning Mashiach is going to come and the weapons are going to be transformed into plowshares. So why are you saying it's a disgrace to wear weapons outside on Shabbos? Correct. So we had the question, so what's going on here? So which one is it? No? What is the reason behind this discussion, whether they are a disgrace or they are ornaments? I mean, this is it's one thing to say you're allowed, you're not allowed. Another thing to say is it's an ornament, meaning it's something that makes you look good, and this says, no, this is something that makes you look bad. That's a much bigger distance than just saying, yeah, we both agree it's good, or we both agree it's bad, but you're allowed, you're not allowed. Yeah? So let's try to understand what was going on. So on a weekday, as we have said multiple times, the time for prayer is the time for war. If you haven't experienced this, then you're not davening properly, and the Yetzer Hara feels, I don't even need to go to work with this guy. He's asleep. You only war when you try to do something good, and then the Yetzer Hara says, ooh, this is going on here. News, this, ideas, work stuff. For the Argentinian fans, they start thinking about Messi. No, this guy starts thinking about what's the next hat he's going to buy. Or you have no war, which means you're probably not doing it right. Which it's counterintuitive. You would feel, why? I'm trying to daven, and why do I have these thoughts? If you're trying to do it good, it's a good sign when you start having thoughts that are taking you away from davening. So that is weekday. We need weapons. We need the weapons to win. We need the weapons to win. We need to use the Shema as a spear, and we need to use Sukkah de Zimbra as a sword, and we need to use the mace to hit the Yetzer Hara, and we need to protect ourselves with the talit and filin, and we need the amida with the bakashot, right? With like the bow and arrow is related to the requests. But on Shabbos, this is not what's going on Shabbos. On Shabbos, there's an elevation of the worlds, right? On Shabbos, there is not supposed to be this war. On Shabbos, the time for davening is not the time for war. On Shabbos and the Amida, we don't do bakashot. We don't ask for stuff. We only praise. There's no request on Shabbos, right? All the requests are the middle blessings, and all the middle blessings are not there. Even though if you make a mistake, by the way, if on Shabbos you are not paying attention, you're asleep, and you start saying Ata chonen le'adam dat, if you say the word chonen, if say Ata is fine, because Ata is also the first word in the night Amida of Shabbos and in the Mincha Amida of Shabbos. But if you say chonen, you have to finish the bracha and make the request. So halachically, that's the law. If you realize I'm in the middle of whatever bracha and I'm not supposed to be saying this, you finish the bracha, and then you go and say the Shabbos part. If it's the Amida on Musaf, you don't. If you realize you're saying Ata chonen le'adam dat on Musaf, you stop and you don't continue that. You go back to where it is. Anyways, that's the point. Is on Shabbos there's no bakashos. So on Shabbos there's no war. The world is elevated. The whole world is elevated to a different state. And as I say, there's boirer. One of the 39 melachos is called boirer, right? What's boirer?
Sifting.
Separating. Right? You cannot separate. You cannot grab something that is bad, that you don't want, and separate it out, because that was done as part of the process to make the flour.
You take the good from the bad.
You can take the good from the bad, but not the bad from the good. And so if you're eating, I don't know, a nice pot of cholent, and you can't stand kishkesh, which they started putting in the cholent here, you can eat around it, but you cannot grab the kishke and take it out. Because we don't grab the bad and take it out on Shabbos, because that's the melacha. Why? During the week, we are refining the world. We're elevating the world. We're separating the good from the bad. On Shabbos, we're not doing that. On Shabbos, we don't, not only we don't do the melacha, we don't even do the spiritual work of refining the world. It's not a day to refine the world. We're not out in the world working and using electricity and using all these things. No, Shabbos is the day of rest. It's a day that is on a higher level. So there's no war. And so the davening in Shabbos is much more elevated, it's much cleaner. And to the point that all of our mitzvahs, and specifically all of our davenings, they say the davenings you make during the week, they really go up to Shamayim on Shabbos, through Shabbos. So Chachamim are saying, dude, you cannot have weapons on Shabbos. No? There's no war on Shabbos. You don't wear weapons on Shabbos, there's no war on Shabbos. Rebbe Eliezer says, I understand there's no war on Shabbos, but we're using them as a decoration to celebrate the battles we've won. This is the spear that I used to, destroy this part of my Yetzer Hara, and this is the mace. I hit the Yetzer Hara good the other day with this mace. So I'm not wearing them to use them. I'm wearing them to celebrate the fact that we were successful. So it's a decoration. It's like when you're in the army and you get a little patch. So why are you wearing a patch? Was that? It's because I achieved something. No. And the Sage says no, because it reminds us that we had to get dirty for war, which is just something temporary. It's a temporary objective, because when Mashiach comes and the evil will be eliminated from the face of the earth, when Mashiach comes, all the weapons will become other things. So we see it's a temporary objective. We're not during the weekday when Mashiach comes, we won't be fighting a war. So the sages say, no, it's a disgrace. It reminds you of the fact that you had to get dirty. Who's right? Not who's right from the Shabbos perspective. Who's right from this more Chassidic perspective? Is it a disgrace or is there a...
It's bad, Your Honor.
Who?
Rabbi Eliezer.
So it's a good thing.
Correct.
Anybody think something different?
No, with him.
You're with him? Ben doesn't care? You don't care?
No, it's not that I don't care, but I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I don't know.
You don't know. What do you think the Rebbe Maharash said?
Huh?
What was the Rebbe Maharash's conclusion?
It's preparation for the Mashiach. So it's an ornament for what we have accomplished over the week.
So unfortunately, the Rebbe Maharash did not come to a conclusion. My gut feeling is, like, I don't know if we should wear them on Shabbos, but I don't see them as a disgrace. I see them as the other way around. But the maamar explained, went through both sides, and finished. It did not say whether it's good or bad. But whether it's good or bad, or whether we're allowed to wear the weapons, nowadays you're allowed to wear a weapon if you're doing it for security purposes. As our security team is armed, even though guns in general would be muktzah. We don't have spears. These guys don't have spears or shields or anything. But for security purposes, you are allowed. Including the Gemara says that if you were living in a town near the border, the laws would be different about having weapons because you didn't have the weapons because of decoration or disgrace. You had them because the enemy is on the other side. But anyways, we have to prepare ourselves for war during the week with our talit and tefillin, praying psuka de zimra with our sword, meditating on the oneness of Hashem during the Shema, asking Hashem for what we need to be successful as Jews to bring Mashiach in the Amidah, and recognizing everything we can enhance in ourselves, and take advantage of Shabbos so we can take our davening to another level where weapons are not needed, and where this not only brings all of our davening from the week up, but also gives us the strength for the next week and how our davening is going to go. And hopefully we can finish using our weapons so that finally Mashiach can come and he will let us know whether he wants us to be wearing our weapons on Shabbos or not.
Yeah.